We haven't even started.
No, but we're on.
We are on?
We're just not being recorded.
We'll begin with the flag salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's either going to be a good day or a bad day, the way things are going.
This conference will now be
It's
recorded.
being okay.
There we go. We welcome everyone to the May 16th Marion County Commission meeting. We'll begin with public forum. Are there any public comments?
There are none online.
All right, if there's no public comments, we'll move into agenda approval. There's a couple of additions. At 1:30, we'll have an executive session with Brad on personnel for 10 or 15 minutes. We'll see how the schedule is going. 2 o'clock, Sharon will be in for 10 minutes on personnel. And then under county counselor, we'll have an executive session on land acquisition. And maybe a couple others, but we'll see how things go. Those will be in the counselor section. Any other additions to the agenda?
Discussion of transfer station. Like just 10 minutes on that somewhere later on,
Okay.
maybe down here towards the end.
Yep, we'll do that at the end. We'll have transfer station
Okay.
discussion.
4 o'clock or something like that, 4:30, 4 p.m., whatever.
Anything else? All right, if not, we'll move forward with administrative business. Tina?
Okay.
Okay.
In your packet, you had some revenue reports.
Mhm.
And then I have the minutes of May 9.
Do we have a motion to approve the May 9th? May 9th? Yes, May 9th minutes?
You just scared me.
Well, I need to. We have a motion by Commissioner Gehring. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Becker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. For some reason, I didn't think it was.
I know, time's moving along, isn't it? Okay, let's see. We do have some early checks. Typically, our quarterly allotments for CDDO, Prairie View, Conservation District, all those are paid in April, and we did not pay those in April, so we need to pay them now. And that was what the early checks are for, and I need to get the clipboard for that.
Okay. Any questions on the early checks?
I'll let you bring it.
I'll make a motion to approve $53,550.
Motion by Commissioner Gehring. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Halkey. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay.
Absolutely love the clipboard.
Okay, good deal.
Man,
Yes.
it's the little things and all that.
It is.
Awesome.
The budgeted transfers, I did not get into your packet, but I do have, these are we do 3 transfers a year, and this first one is Road and Bridge sales tax to capital improvement, and then the 7 mills that we budget in the general fund to fund the capital improvement fund. This is the first 1/3 transfer for this calendar year, and if you all want to look at that, I didn't make copies for you. And then the other transfer that we do is the transfer to the special equipment fund from Road and Bridge. So this is 1/3 of the budgeted transfer for the year.
Okay.
And that is the only way that fund is receives money.
Are we signing these?
I'm sending them for you all to look at because I didn't copy them for you. These are just our regular budgeted transfers, the first 1/3 for the year, and that is done by motion and a vote.
Motion to
What's-
approve transfers.
All three?
All three.
I've got a question.
Okay.
Are we gonna be impacted
because of increased expenses countywide in departments just because of inflation.
Well, yes.
I'm looking down the road and I'm going, how in the world do we pay for our fuel? How in the world are we gonna?
One thing he budgeted in, I mean, he's already assured us he's got enough in his budget to cover.
Right, yeah, and I'm thinking, we need to be
Next
mindful
year.
going down the road. I don't know how we're gonna maintain the budget.
Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Garing to move ahead with the transfers. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Dahlke. Discussion?
I'm just gonna second what Kent said. When you fuel, all of a sudden, if it, what it's doing is worse this time than what it was the first time I experienced it. And it does at the end of the year, and so get prepared now
Right.
instead of, I think that's what Kent's saying.
Yeah,
Well, I
yes.
just, I think I'm looking down the road thinking about, what the impact on general fund is gonna be.
Yep.
And that's where it's gonna impact.
Yeah.
Right.
So yes, but I second, and just word of caution.
Okay, any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0 on all three transfers. If you could, we got the signature sheets, good.
We got two of them. So
Yeah, there's
two
two of them.
two of them on one.
Two on one sheet. Yeah, there's a separate. Read that up there.
Kent, that's why, leading up to over the last few years, we've been so high on fuel bills, is always estimating that our budget's been high because of back then.
Well,
We knew this was gonna happen.
You always budget for more, but nobody had an idea
Yeah.
that diesel was gonna be $5.
Yeah, that's the price that people go.
And one thing to keep in mind on any of these transfers, even if we make them, if we need to put them back, we can
Yeah.
at a later time, so.
Very good. Thank
The
you.
sales tax transfer is the least easy to move back, just because we have a resolution for that and what it's allocated for. So, but the other two are easily put back. All right, in your packet, you had a resolution to authorize cost share certificates for the noxious weed department. This program has been something that we've done consistently. It's not required, but Josh isn't able to be here today, and he sent the resolution along for approval. If you choose to do so, it'd be 2022-15.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve resolution 2022-15 on cost share, $5,000 on noxious weed? Motion by Commissioner Garing, is there a second? Commissioner Becker, second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Last week, I had given you the RFP for security cameras
Yes.
and some other items. That is slated to go out today, if you will approve the RFP, for us to go ahead and solicit the bids. Obviously, does not tie you to accept any bids or to, do anything else other than just approve sending it out.
Did any commissioners have questions on the proposed RFP? If not, is there a motion to approve the RFP to be sent out? Okay, motion by Commissioner Crowfoot, is there a second? I'll second it. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you. Want to quickly talk about budget meeting dates. As you hopefully remember, May 31st, all day we slated right after payday to do budgets after payday. And then also we have June 1st, so that's the Tuesday payday to be all day. And then Wednesday, May 1 in the afternoon, those are the dates that we had put for the department heads to present their budgets. So we have them starting at 12:30 and going all afternoon on that day. So those are on the calendar and the department heads are being scheduled in. So the other dates we need to pin down are the 2 meeting dates we want to have with Scott Lloyd, which would be after we meet with department heads. And he's doing 3 other counties this year besides us. And so I've got some proposed dates that we could use for first and second meetings. Maybe I should just make a copy of each of these for you. If you're unavailable on any of these dates, could you let me know as soon as possible? And would it be easier if I give you all a copy?
Well, maybe just read them off real quick.
Okay, so the June 1st, we're already meeting.
Right.
June 2nd is the very next day after department head meetings. He's available if you want to
Oh,
meet
okay.
again, like a 3rd day in a row.
Okay.
June
Make a
8th,
marathon.
9th, 14th, or 15th, and all of those are available. Those are the department head dates for potentially for other counties. He's offered those dates to other counties. So our dates, if they don't take those dates, we could use one of those for our first meeting.
Sure.
The other dates for potential meetings would be June 22nd, 24th, 28th, 29th, 30th, and Friday, July 1, which I would love it if it would be a June date, just because we need to get moving and get
Right.
things in place.
Earlier is probably better.
Yes,
We typically meet twice.
You said
yes.
So,
22nd or 23rd of June?
22nd or 24th were the ones he
24th.
offered. So that's a Wednesday and a Friday.
How about 24th?
How about an 8th and 9th?
Oh,
I'm thinking the first of.
how about the 9th?
Well, I'm fine with the 2nd and 8th.
How about the
Because
9th?
wheat harvest.
I'm
I
not,
don't want anything that in the 20s.
I'm not available late.
Oh, you're not the 8th, okay.
Not the 8th.
Okay, so, okay, 8th is off, so how about 2 and 9? 2 and 9 work?
I would,
Well, I think that you're gonna need more
Good night.
space between your 2
Oh, okay.
meetings, because Scott's gonna have some things he
he's
has
got
to
to do
get
some
ready.
hiring
So the first meeting is generally going over information.
Okay.
I'll send him all the department head information. And it's kind of a general session with all of you to figure out what you want.
Okay, so 2 and 8 are really out then.
I would say,
Start with
we're
the
not even
9th.
gonna have value by that time.
Okay.
Because we won't, so he's putting those dates early for those other counties because of the department head piece, he's working that with them.
Okay.
We're doing our department head piece ourselves. So, thinking through this is the first time I really thought through it, sorry.
Okay.
So I would say the 14th or 15th would be probably the first available that would
That's
be
somebody else's
really
date.
appropriate to meet.
Is that somebody else's date though?
So far, no.
Not
That's
yet.
the earlier we get it, the better chance.
I'm gonna be gone all that week.
Okay,
The last 2 weeks I'm available.
okay.
I mean, I'll be here for the meeting.
Well,
I'll
how
be
about
gone the rest of
the 24th, and I would say it's gonna rain that day, so.
Gotta get the first meeting in.
Well, the first meeting could be in the same time frame too, it doesn't matter. It's just a matter of, with us,
Trying to help
he's,
that farmer down there.
I know, every date I bring up, it's
And-
crossed
and-
off.
You'll
We
be
said
done
we
with
can't go
harvest
the
by the
2nd
24th.
Because that's too close.
well, the second, he's not gonna have value to build our budget
Right.
on
And
that
we need the
early.
value.
So we need the value. You know, the 8th, somebody say the 8th or 9th, they won't be here.
8th is not.
I won't be the 8th, I could be the 9th.
9th does work, right?
How about June 9th, have the first meeting?
June 9th is still kind of early. Is that too
It is
early?
early, but I think it would be worth trying if the other counties aren't taking that day, if that works. Does that not work for you, Randy?
No, that's fine. I'm fine.
Thursday, that's a Thursday.
So does June 9th work?
Then come back on the 22nd.
Come back on the 22nd?
When is it gonna get less busy for?
22nd, I won't
August.
be available.
Okay, 22nd's out.
August.
How about the 24th?
21st I would be.
The
Or the
21st
24th.
is already taken by Ottawa County.
Okay, 24th I'd be available.
So it gives them 2 solid weeks.
9 and 24. 9 and 24 going once. Takes it through, 9 and 24 going
And
twice.
the other thing to think about, I mean, that's great with me.
Yeah.
Thursday, June 30th is your payday already. I don't know which of those days is better for you.
If you want
I
to
don't
do
really
it,
wanna
do it
put it
all
off.
in one day, that's fine with me.
And to me, the first date is probably the more important one. So you can get.
Yeah, so you can get started. All right.
The other day is just the final approval.
I'll just put tentative on the 24th.
This third, yes.
This is for department heads?
No.
No.
Department heads are coming in. You told me to schedule departments in before Scott comes.
The 31st.
These are the dates for Scott.
With the budget.
My question to the commission, are we giving them any guidelines to go with, or just say, bring us what you want?
We're sending out those reports now to them so they can start working on them. So it would be good to have, if you have instructions, we need them today.
That's just general directions, commission.
Have we
Think
done,
about
what
it.
have we done in the past?
Not much.
Told them to be conservative as possible.
Not much.
Come in and we
But, you know,
try.
This is a
try
different
to-
year than what we've seen.
Okay.
There have been times in the past where the commission has directed that budgets should be prepared with no increases.
That's gonna be pretty hard to do.
But yes, it is,
This is-
especially, yeah.
Okay, we'll think about the instruction part. Let's go back to the dates. Do you wanna stick with the 9th and 24th? Or do you wanna go 9th and 30th? We're good with 9th and 24th?
that should work for me.
All right, we're set. 9th and 24th. Keep
All
those
right,
dates in
I
mind.
will lock that in as best I can. If there's, if
30th.
something arises, then we'll let you know.
Very good.
Okay,
All right.
thank you. And that's all I have.
Unless you want to cross the board cut.
All right, we're ready for
Tough to
Krista.
do.
I'll just put that back on the agenda later in the day, so come back.
Hi, Krista.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Krista. Car keys in hand.
Car keys in hand. Well, I have a couple of vehicle bids. I don't know if it's been brought up that we're, with our Tahoe, it's time to get something different since we've been borrowing the county vehicle. Seems like whenever we go out of town, or outside the county, we've been
It's a
taking it.
2002.
2002 Tahoe is what we have currently. It's got over 100,000 miles on it. And so I have a couple different bids. I have a bid from Midway Motors for a Traverse, and that bid is for $41,745. And then I have a bid from Hillsborough Ford for an Explorer, and it's for $37,103.
What'd your budget say?
I talked to Tina this morning. She said we've got $38,000 in capital outlay.
Sounds like Ford.
And after driving both of the vehicles, that would be
That would be your
pick.
pick. Okay. That's under your budget.
Is this a vehicle that's gonna be used to pull trailers and everything?
It would be just our small trailers, since that's kind of all that we
Little
would have
cargo.
capacity to, because primarily the vehicle will be used to take for conferences, or if we have vaccine clinics or things of that nature.
I think when we look at vehicles nowadays, we need to be looking at the ones that are most fuel efficient.
What year was
These are both 2022s.
Okay.
So they'd be new builds.
Tow package already in?
Yes, I had them include the tow package on both vehicles.
Okay, so it is a.
Terry called me and told me that the new Explorer, that's 6 months out. 5 months
yeah.
minimum,
Same with,
probably 6.
Midway Motors, or two with the Chevy, they said what they're telling people is 5 to 6 month lead time, but it's hard to even estimate what you're gonna,
But good to get the order in now sooner.
yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Krista?
We're just fortunate that Ford still has a government pricing. Because it sounds like some of that may go away in the future.
I guess I would.
And if that happened, that Explorer would be 50. at least over that.
I'd make the motion to approve the purchase of Ford Explorer for $37,103 from Hillsborough Ford for the health department. Second by Commissioner Dalkey. Discussion.
Color again.
White.
That is not that important.
Is it?
I do appreciate that it's white, but.
I suppose that's an 8-cylinder engine.
I
don't
think
make
they
those
said
anymore.
that they don't make those anymore, that
The
it's
four, the four,
Six.
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 Oh,
You better get some mileage.
Might be a four-cylinder too.
It stops.
I wanna say that when I drove them, they said that they're all fours.
They're all 4 cylinders?
Four
I think
cylinder
so.
with the EcoBoost.
I drove some snappy four-cylinder.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're getting off. Do we have legitimate questions, or are we just having a
no,
discussion?
no, whether you
It's a main
have a
thing.
4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, or what you have in that, if you're gonna pull it.
Yeah.
a trailer.
Right, I heard 6.
Well-
6 is probably sufficient for something like that.
But they put a trailer package with it, sure, they put the right engine with it.
I would hope so too. I don't know much about it, but I would hope so.
Yeah, it's got the trailer pack.
We could approve it and ask that question, and she could report back to us before the order goes
If
in.
there's any question on it, you can bring
Because
it
I
up.
know the Ford 6 is, I think horsepower wise, is almost comparable to these. The way they make them,
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna call the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
You
Thank
understand
you.
what, Krista, what we're saying?
If it's a 4 or 6 cylinder.
Yeah,
engine.
find out and see if the engine is sufficient to pull the cargo in.
And I think our only trailer that we would be pulling would be our Safe Kids.
The white one?
Trailer, so a small one.
It's not heavy, you don't load it down.
Wind resistance. That's the biggest thing on that, but yeah.
This goes
Just
to the county.
tell the employees just keep their foot out of it.
It's 4-cylinder,
It's gonna go.
What do you do if it's
Just
4-cylinder? Commission, you gonna buy it if it's a 4-cylinder?
It depends on what the horsepower.
I can pass this down and let you guys.
If they
look
make
at
it with a trailer and package,
I mean, I think we already.
you're not gonna pull it more than just in the county.
Not for the
Oh,
purpose,
well,
no.
that might, yeah.
We got other vehicles to pull the trailer.
Well,
This is to
Yeah.
get around.
Yeah, that's true too.
And then we're being gas economical most of the time.
I mean, if you've got other vehicles to pull a trailer, then what are we buying an Explorer for? Why don't you just buy a car?
Nobody makes
We
the
still
car
have quite a
anymore.
few supplies when we go for a vaccine clinic. Like the last week when I was there at Wichita, I had to pick up life jackets for the Safe Kids program. And my car was kind of packed to the ceiling.
But it's got the tow package.
When they go out to do shots, but they've got 2 big cases. They roll.
Can I get one for both the bids, so
Yeah.
have for the minutes,
Yep.
please?
Yeah, I think it's all.
Jackie's
Is
got
this just, these are just copies, or do you have them, or do you?
Yeah, I've got an email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate
It's
it.
guys
That
like
little
it too.
commercial, I have to get these things.
It's good.
Well,
Well, we appreciate it, Krista.
Thank you.
They get it, you know, I drove it, I got it.
Too many engineers, too many
I
vehicles.
think it's 30 miles.
All right, we're ready for Isaac. A few minutes early, but if you're ready.
He's out. He's up there.
I'll give you a call.
Hello, Isaac.
Hey, how we doing today?
Good.
Okay. So, I got bids for both the lighting for the lake hall, switching over from the old fluorescent to the LED like we did in the lake office. And then I also got exterior painting bids for the lake hall bathroom and office building. Start with the electrical bids here. If you want to take one of those and pass it down.
Even I can share it. How many you got?
I got 7. There should be 7 of each there.
Okay.
I got extra just in case.
Oh, 7.
We got 3 different bids.
3 different
We
bids,
gotta
7.
take one.
Seven.
Getting above our heads
There we go.
here.
There we go.
Have paper clips.
Hey, I think I got you one. Electric.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I think.
I can say Brad.
Maybe I don't. Maybe we got one on.
Chairman, you don't have this.
No, I don't have that. Should be, there we go. Yep, got it right there.
It might be easy enough to read. This looks pretty clear. It doesn't
You need to call in next time, don't let it.
Make it easier.
Good piece of something doing evenings.
There's two there, there you go. I can read these.
After seeing the numbers, I got a conflict, so I gotta abstain.
Okay, we have 3 bids for replacing the lighting at the Marion County Lake Hall with LED fixtures. It's fixtures, right, or is it lamps?
So it is lamps.
It's
and
actually the lamps.
That was a conversation that we
Yes.
had, so we talked about doing complete fixtures, because that
Right.
is actually what we did in the office.
Yes.
Upon looking at the fixtures, I was kind of persuaded to switch over, because what the conversation was is, the main problem I have in there is not necessarily the fixtures, it's the ballast
Right.
that keep in and out that we've been constantly trying to replace. And the ballasts that were in there are no longer made, they're the old heavy ones, so we had been switching them over with the new ones. So we pretty much had options of keep buying new ballast to put in there or switch these over. Said switching over to the LED, just the lamp gets rid of the whole ballast altogether. And then they said in the future, because those LEDs don't last forever, they said it'd be easier for us to personally just replace the LED lamp. Because if the fixture goes bad, then you gotta go back in and replace the whole fixture.
Correct.
And so we decided to switch over and do this. One is the big job here is about half the price as the fixtures. And then 2, once those lamps start going out, that is something that we as just the staff should be able to do instead of having to bring somebody in to replace those fixtures as we go.
I think that was a good decision, and all bids are consistent. They're all on replacing just the lamps.
Correct.
All right, so we've got 3 bids on replacing the lamp. Okay, Commissioner Dawkins has a question before we
Oh,
start.
no, I'd like to make a motion whenever you're ready.
I think I need to read the bids first.
He's
I
done.
may be new at this, but I think.
See, I got 'em first,
I'm
that's
learning
fine.
from my mistakes, because I think I've done that before.
Yep.
All right, the first bid is from Sanders Electric, and that is for replacing the fluorescent bulbs to LED at Marion County Lake Hall, $2,455.44. Second bid is from Landmark Electric, the same guidance, and $2,397.80. Third bid from Elcon, $2,083.12. Now, Commissioner Dockey.
I'd like to go ahead with Elcon Services for the bid of $2,083.12 to do what the bid says, the 48 96 inch, and then 8 48s, and then 10 apprentice. Oh, what's that? Apprentice electrician?
Maybe hours.
Hours. Okay.
Labor.
Yeah, total bid of $2,083.12.
We have a motion by Commissioner Dalkey. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Becker. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Abstain.
4 in favor, 1 abstention. Very good. I think that'll be a great improvement and save on electricity.
So the next bids that I have are for the exterior painting of the lake hall, the bathroom house right there next to the lake hall, and just the lake office building. Right now, those buildings are kind of a bluish green color. 2 of the buildings are metal, 1 of them is wood, the bathroom house is wood. It is gonna take quite a bit of prep work, I heard that. So I got 2 bids, I got 2 bids here. I had a very hard time finding people to do it. A lot of them said that they were over a year and a half out, and a lot of them out of Wichita, they just said that they were busy enough that they did not want to travel this far. Both of these companies are out of Newton, Kansas. And both came out and looked. The big difference between the 2 bids is the Gonzalez painting. One is the type of paint they're using for the metal buildings. It says under like the big events party building price, which is highlighted, that direct to metal alkali enamel paint. Whereas with Cohen painting, they're just gonna do a primer and then two coats of exterior paint. The price is pretty significant between the two bids.
All right. Going even on the bath is substantially cheaper.
So did you research the different paints?
I did. Really, this one from Gonzalez Painting, it's about $50 more a gallon compared to just the standard exterior paint there. And
A better paint?
for metal buildings, and it doesn't require as much priming as just the initial exterior. The other big thing is with Gonzalez Painting is their prep work, and Cohen didn't. He does have scrape, prep, and power wash. This Gonzalez Painting, he said they were going to actually rub down the entire metal buildings with that TSP, which is like pretty much a paint thinner material, I believe. Yeah,
Kind of alcohol,
yeah.
so.
I will say, it's in both of them commented on the amount of time it's going to take to prep those buildings to be painted. I think the office and the lake hall still have original paint on them, because underneath what is peeling is just metal. I don't know that for a fact, but that's what they think. And I guess, I don't know a whole lot about it, but there's a bunch of powder on the buildings when you rub your finger up and down the paint, and they said all that's gonna have to come off until they can actually paint over that.
They're gonna have to scuff it,
Yeah.
get that stuff to ground.
Kind of like the Gonzalez with the better paint and the more labor, even though it is twice as much.
Yeah, but that building, that paint has lasted a long time.
Oh, yeah, well, if it's original, which
I don't know when that building was built, but it was in the,
Yeah,
what,
they thought-
70s?
Both of them thought, because that was my big question, and I didn't know, but both of them thought that actually all three buildings had original
I mean,
paint
so
on
to
them.
me, if they actually prep it right,
Lasts a long time.
good.
Original is actually a powder coat.
And
Spray
Isaac
on.
wanted to worry
It's-
about it.
It's gonna last a lot longer than any repaint.
Repaint on top of it.
Yeah, but we can repaint twice.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm just saying that there's a difference.
Any other questions? For our online listeners, I'm going to read the bids. As you've already heard, there's a difference in the bids. Gonzalez Painting with the higher quality paint, one coat, $26,035. Cohen Paint with two coats of Sherwin-Williams Super Paint is $11,675.
I'll make a motion to accept the bid from Kane Painting,
Okay,
$11,675.
we have a motion from Commissioner Becker for the $11,675. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Gary. Further discussion?
Isaac, did they give any kind of a warranty information on Leroy Kane's bid?
1 year.
He's got it.
There-
He's got
there-
1 year.
Yes, it does have a 1 year warranty on it.
Probably just missed it somewhere, but I didn't see that. Okay.
Well, it looks like it's not on here.
Yeah, it's not on the-
But I do have it on the email that they
Okay,
sent me.
as long as
and
we've got
Yeah,
something
and I
from
can
it.
send that over.
They usually do. I just
Yeah.
didn't see it on here. That's why I
Yeah.
asked.
Good question. Thank you.
The other one just has a 1 year.
It's 1
Yeah,
year
they're
as well.
1 year. I
Yes,
just
it is.
normally want to see it on the
Yeah.
bid.
Yep.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Motion carried 4-1.
And that was it for me.
Well, I think these are both very worthwhile projects. It's gonna look nice.
I can start this year.
Yes, both of them said that they could
I
get
said
started
no.
this year.
I said year, no.
Was a problem that we were having, was trying to find somebody that could make it out in a reasonable amount of time.
Before the snow flies.
Yeah.
Well, if it worked for you, Isaac, we'd go ahead and move into your evaluation. If that would work.
That would work.
Brad, do you usually stay for those?
I haven't historically. I don't have to necessarily be
You got
involved.
other things you can.
I can go find something to do.
Tina,
certainly.
I bet Tina is fine.
Yeah, she does it.
I have a space at my desk you can utilize if you need it.
I'll just vacate the premises.
All right, I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B for item 1, personnel matters and non-elected personnel performance with the commission and Isaac. 20 minutes. Go from 1:05 to 1:25. Is there a second?
Second.
I guess we can come out early.
Yeah.
You do want to make it less?
We can come out early.
Okay. We have a motion and a second by Commissioner Gary. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We'll be back at 1:25.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I got a punch on.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we are out of executive session, no decisions made. At this point, we're gonna go back in for another 15-minute executive session. I move that we recess in executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance with the commission and counselor. From 1:20, let's go 1:30 to 1:45.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. Is there any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We will be back at 1:45.
Steve.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know where to go look for it.
This conference will now be recorded.
Cast iron stove.
I mean, I didn't stay very long.
I just wanted for camping.
Okay, we are out of executive session. No decisions made. We're ready for Road and Bridge on the Department of Business Indigo Road Bid Award. Steve Hudson, are you in the hall? Hi, Steve. Come
Gentlemen.
on. Take the hot seat.
whoa,
right by
wait a
the
minute.
microphone.
You get the special seat, Oh, Steve. man, I was trying to sit up front here.
You gotta sit in front of the mic.
Yeah, people want to hear you. Okay. No biggie.
Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Glad to see you here.
Yep.
Good to see you here.
I really don't have much to bring to the table, really. I mean, unless you got questions for me or anything. It's kind of just spur of the moment thing for me.
But I think we need to take action on the award on Indigo Road. So that would be our first priority. Cornejo was the low bid.
Apparent low bid and actual low bid, correct?
Yep. And Brad had, Bryce had a couple questions and he talked with you. They meet all the standards of the bid.
Mhm. And then we had followed up. I think they were still having some conversations, but I think that's an element that's somewhat separate from this. In terms of the change order that was discussed, there's from their perspective, it seemed as though that was workable. The only question will be how far we end up wanting to go. Because they agreed that you could get to a point where you might have to bid that separately or do something else on that element of it. Or if it's consistent with what we were looking to do elsewhere on it, they could perhaps do that as a change order. So I think they're waiting a bit on that.
Okay.
From the commission's wishes perspective. Bryce and I talked on Friday morning, and I had called them and followed. I'd called them earlier in the week and then called again on Friday. And I think they were still having discussions. Somebody was out. One person who would be a decision maker in that process didn't hear from them this morning. So
they're receptive to
Yeah,
once they
seem to be.
peel up there,
Yeah.
or they.
And Bryce had talked to him about it as well as I understood it.
They'll
So.
address the extras through a change order.
Mhm. As long as we stay, if we get really elaborate, we may have to do something different, but in terms of potential to do one, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to go with change orders, they just seem to never stop.
Yeah.
But, once you're on the ground, you actually see what's going on.
In
not just a
fairness,
piece
it's
of paper.
difficult on this end.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing they did tell Bryce is if they were gonna do it, they want to do it, I think he said now, and he said, we haven't got all of, our ducks completely in a row yet for that purpose, but, that was last I heard. I knew he was gonna be out today, so.
Yes, it's good, we're moving forward anyway.
So the commission needs to take action.
Yes.
I would move that we accept the bid from Corneo and Sons for the Indigo Road project in the amount of $2,296,716.07.
And would you mind adding that they need to submit a bond, payment performance
Yes.
bond?
Contingent upon their submission of the did you say payment bond?
Payment and performance.
Payment and performance
I
bond.
mentioned it to him on
I would second.
Okay, second by Commissioner Dahlke. Any further discussion? All
Just
in-
keep us in mind of what the bottom 4 or 5 miles may need, whatever. That's what the whole thing is, so.
That's the change order.
Yeah.
Friday.
Yep.
Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. And we really appreciate their bids. Very competitive and
Good
they're a
company.
well-known contractor. I think that was a great job.
So we have this contract as well that was in the packet.
Mhm.
Do we go ahead and do that, issue that today along with this?
It's consistent with what their bid was, so I don't see any reason why not, as long as they do that.
Payment performance first before we sign anything.
Might be good to either contingent upon or. hold
Well, I think
back.
it was in the.
It's in here.
It should be in the bid documents that,
Next page, maybe.
I'd make a motion to approve the chairman's signature
I
upon
highlighted it on.
contingent upon payment performance bond.
Second.
I'm sorry, could you repeat your motion?
I made a motion to authorize the chairman to sign the contract contingent upon the payment performance.
Second by Commissioner Becker.
Thank you.
So that way he has the
That covers
authority
it, yeah.
Friday to go ahead and sign it if he wants.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. I'm glad you're getting a lot of time to speak today, Steve.
Well, Bryce did give me one thing he wanted me to bring up, and I don't know if you guys are aware of it, all of our equipment that we put on Football Wave has been sold and paid for in full.
The Volvo was great.
Has it all migrated away?
Yeah, Bryce told me the information that it was taken care of just recently, so.
Sometimes they have a hard time getting the stuff picked up.
Yeah, we still got a few,
Okay.
one of them's from Canada yet, so, and then a couple from Texas.
But if it's paid for, what the heck?
Yeah, well, it's just taking up a room now.
Yeah.
so.
And then it's always that in the middle of nowhere phone call, hey, can you meet me here so I can load it? Yeah, that's why you want them all right away.
Here's the signature page for that agreement.
Do you want to do that or do you want to wait?
I don't care, I can.
You can hold it.
Hold it,
Yes.
yeah.
Should I have expressed instruction just to hold it until you get that? You made the motion that way.
I made the motion, sorry, to sign it, but as long as he gives her a directive,
Or she doesn't pass it on.
Just precedent is getting receipt.
Yep.
Any other news for us?
At this point, we had some concerns about the all-new road, 140th. We are, how would I say, gravel patching it right now. So we're taking care of the dangerous potholes.
Sure.
I think we all got the letters.
Yes.
I got 6 or 7, everybody
Yep.
had. I was out there this morning, I mean, I'm ready to close that road through traffic and tear it out. It's not fixable.
It's not safe.
It's not safe, it's not fixable, and I don't understand why these big rock trucks are going, where are they coming from and where are they going?
That's been camped since 35 years. They come from Florence and they cross over towards Canton, Galvin, over in that area.
Then go.
I don't know why, but they do that.
To me, that's just asinine.
That's
On the
just.
gravel road?
No, they hit the 140th at the 77 highway. They go straight across. Of course, that used to be blacktop all the way, but they still take rock trucks across there. A lot of them, yes.
But to me, it's not safe. It needs to be closed to through traffic. We need to rip it out, pack it, water it down, and then at some point in time, if it's got a decent base, maybe we can go back to it.
when I was talking with Bryce and the commission in here, and I referred back to probably when you started, I think the first day I met you, you was west of Peabody, 5 miles out, and working on the water truck, and we was tearing out probably timber going south at that time. But in that time, the only thing that I know that's different is the old Scarfire, or what is scraper, not scraper.
A Bomag machine?
The Bomag machine.
Milling machine?
Yeah, Bomag
Yeah.
is the difference that we don't have today. The Bomag is no longer available, is it?
We do have it at our south shop,
It
yes.
is still there.
It's gonna take,
A lot of work to fix it, and that's the difference that I see.
But couldn't we lease one or something? Take that 3 or 4 miles out?
a milling machine of some sort where they would just mill or scarify the top of it. That's, you guys are getting it kinda in Bryce's.
Yeah.
Well, that base is
Yeah, but I'm just talking
about every 100
That's,
feet on every
that's,
side
our
of the road.
guys used it. You used it.
Right.
I mean, everybody used it. We tore the roads out with that, and we laid back with that.
Right.
And what I think Kent's saying, is there a machine that we could rent to lay out and do with our,
Or is it,
There
or can
is.
we just tear it out?
yeah, I mean, it,
There is. I think it'd be beneficial for us to use the material that's there if we had a way to grind it up and pulverize it and make it where it's, drivable rock.
So you
if
can
wanna call that.
repack it.
Yeah, very similar to what happened before out on, the old Elk Road, or Elk Cutoff Road, 250th and 240th going toward the county line. That was ground up at one time, and this is a pretty hard road at this point in
But
time.
it appears like you ought to be able to pull some of those ditches and get that crown in.
Yes.
Is there, at least there is ditch out there.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very true, but I just want, the only thing that we haven't used it in the last 3 or 4 years that I know of, but that is the difference. We built probably Alney Road going west out Alney with that. I don't know whether we used it then or not, but I know the 3 grader operators out of Peabody was out there working on that when it was done. But I just, what Kent's saying
I
is,
mean, is it just junk, or is it worth fixing?
Probably every hydraulic hose on that would have to be replaced.
Yeah, if we're not gonna use it, we shouldn't have.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, we should just get rid of it for.
Well,
that way it
It'd
keeps
just
the
be
question,
junk.
keeps the question from being
the
asked.
cost of a new machine now, I don't know where it's at, but when we wanted to go buy one, when Commissioner Holland and the 3rd commissioner, I don't remember, but the lowest bid we even seen was close to $1 million to.
But I mean,
There's no reason to
can you
buy
take a dozer down that road with a ripper, rip it out, and just
The only
hit
problem
it with
is,
big discs?
yeah, but you wouldn't be able to grind it up good enough in order for it to, unless you came back in and use that material that you ground up with a disc, laid it and made a base out of it, built your crown out of it, and then come in and lay some kind of surface rock on top.
But, I mean, it's gotten to the
good with
point,
that.
And I don't want to put Steve under the gun by any means, but what we're wanting and what Peabody just did, or what you did down by Peabody, a mile east of town, is great. But I don't know how we built it. I didn't get a chance to watch that. But I just think once we tear out a rock road, or a blacktop road, we've done that before, but we've always ground it to get a good base and put that material back in, just like you're saying, Steve.
Right.
And so, if possible for that road, I would see if there is a machine available to rip those 4 miles out and rip it up and make it small material to work with.
probably,
for our graders.
if the weather was decent, you could probably get it in a week, couldn't you?
Well, it depends on whether there's one available or not being used.
Yeah, if
already.
one's available, the weather's right.
There is, Bryce and I have talked about such a machine that you're talking about, as far as it'd be very similar to the Bomag. It wouldn't be, it'd be a rental type deal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean.
But, I think the sooner the better.
Does it mix a fly ash back into it or anything like that?
You can go ahead and lay out fly ash in front of it and then grind it up and mix it up. As you're going, you're mixing the fly ash with the material that's there already.
Or a cement or
think-
something?
I think you would have to have some kind of water source going to it though,
Yes.
to get it all mixed in good.
I guess I would ask for a motion from the commission that we direct the county engineer to bring us a plan to convert the 4 mile, I'm just gonna call it Alney Road, to a gravel, using a recommendation, the best process to build a good gravel road.
Come up for a plan for that then?
Yeah. Would there be a motion?
can I add to that?
Yes.
Not only to bring us a plan, but a mobilization plan with a date on it. We need to get started on it. I mean, this is not
Yep,
something,
yep,
oh,
yep,
next
yep.
fall, maybe we,
Very high priority.
yeah. Get
Thank you all.
mobilized.
I appreciate it after saying it last week with Bryce here, but some of the people, that's the next thing that I really, are we going and talking to those people that's, maybe you don't know about the letters that we've received from people out there. Probably don't have, but I think somebody needs to go talk to those people and let them know that we're working on it.
I tried to respond to all of them.
Did you? Okay, good.
I mean, I didn't say what the commission was gonna do,
Right.
other than we're
Right.
studying it.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't want to step on Dave's, that's his area, but I'd be willing to go with him or anything like that.
I mean, probably just need to go to church sometime.
Well,
Yeah,
just-
I want them all there.
You can talk to all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so one
The
on
church
one.
may fall apart if I
Might
do
not
so.
be the time you wanna do it.
Okay, I asked for a motion, I didn't make it, so would there be someone willing to make that?
I would make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Dalkey, and I think Tina, you got the.
I'll get it from the video.
But it's basically to convert that road to a good gravel road with a good base with Commissioner Becker's addition to the motion that it be a high priority with the plan that's presented also timely. Second by Commissioner Gehring. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We do need to address that road. It's a high priority.
Well, I think our maintainers waste his time out there.
Yeah.
The process has been done in the past, have built some really good gravel roads.
I'm proud of what I see them doing, and what they have done in the past and stuff, and so, I know we can do it, but it takes time, takes away from other work that you've planned and stuff like
Yeah,
that when you
this
do
is-
that, so.
Somebody's gonna get killed out there on there.
You didn't take action on closing through traffic. Is that something you want to still take action on?
Advice of council, I think
We may want to wait on that, yeah, we get the better sense from Bryce exactly what's occurring.
Yeah.
Yeah, because weather would dictate quite a bit of
Yes.
that as far as closing it down at that time.
Well, you're
Also,
right, that
kind of
too.
let the board know, we are planning on blade patching the 1st of June. Will be our start date, which we're trying to get a head start of it. Last year, we had quite a bit of problems with the flooding and so forth in the spring, and trying to get caught up on that. And then plus the other projects up in East Tampa, and then also the Old Trail Road. But hopefully this year, we'll get a better start on it, and we'll get a lot more done this year as far as blade patching.
I think we'll have plenty of heat this year.
Yes.
That's the way it's looking.
Another question on 140, is there some way we could get those big trucks off of there? And keep it open? We're closed to commercial vehicles?
It's county road, yes.
I do believe there's signs every paved road that we have, there's like a 65,000 pound weight limit, it just needs to be enforced. And through traffic only, so.
So it's more of
To-
an
to what
enforcement
traffic
in than any
I think
signage.
it's just through traffic, or
If it's county road.
No.
we have-
not through traffic only,
No, no.
delivery traffic.
Yeah, there you go.
Local traffic.
There you go. Yeah.
Local traffic.
Yeah.
How can we enforce it without scales?
That's the problem. Might know where we could get a set that would be really affordable from a city that no longer wishes them. They're pretty new, certified.
You know, the sheriff could stop them.
Yeah.
We've got scales unless they've sold them, but we do have scales.
Portable ones,
In the sheriff's
Okay.
department, yes.
so we don't need them.
Would maybe a less expensive approach be just to write a letter to the quarry, or that have a waste of
Good.
time?
Just be like.
No, because, a lot of it's coming
Direct
there.
people to go back on the major
I
highways.
mean, would the commission be okay doing a consensus that we have the council draft a letter to the quarry that
Do we need
Direct
a motion on it?
No, I think you can do it as, well, yeah, I think you can do it as a directive in this particular
Okay.
case.
any opposition? Maybe that'll help in the short term.
That's better too. It's better than.
Better than nothing.
What?
And
The worst thing
scales and
you
the sheriff. and-
write them a ticket for something they've been doing
Yeah, for a long time.
forever, and then all of a sudden you've got a fight.
Yeah.
Just kindly put it out there.
Yeah.
Steve, there's signs out there periodically for the 65K limit.
I believe all of our blacktop roads coming off, especially coming off state highways.
Yeah.
Have that sign
Okay.
posted.
Anything else for us, Steve?
Not at this time, guys.
Hopefully no floods,
Yes.
and good staff, and hopefully we get a good productive summer this year.
Yeah, I tell you guys, we're doing the best we can with what we got.
Yep.
I think we're getting a lot done.
Good. Well, I know we're
I
seeing
think
good
that
things.
we're within a 48-hour response time from a call-in for a culvert or something like that. So we're getting really close to being caught up with things. As far as call-ins and all
Great.
that. But there's always stuff that we need to do. Anyway.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Steve.
guys.
One more thing on 140th is I was out there running it, working out there on it, and I saw guys digging ever so often in the center of the road. So I had to stop and talk to them. And Bryce had already called for our county surveyor, geotech, to come and remove all the pins that's out there, and then they'll put them back in. And his text came back, well, that's state law that we have to do that. So, but I give him, I just said on there, good job, Bryce. I said, because it's definitely needed, because once you go through there tearing and ripping and tearing, the pins all leave, and so they've dug them out, got them marked, got them located and everything, and then I think they'll come back and set them when the road is back in, so. Very good. I was very pleased with it, looked nice.
I guess one more thing I just thought of, on 140th with the wind farm and everything, I don't know how much extra traffic we're gonna be getting on that too, so.
Right in the middle of it, yeah.
Yeah, so
This
that's,
would be a great time then to tear it up, because if they need it, they can.
Very good.
all right, guys, thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Steve, for thinking about that, because that's, things gonna happen.
Yeah, we'll be going here.
Okay, if you see Sharon in the hallway, have her come out.
Okay.
She was out there a minute ago.
Okay, good luck.
Hi, Sharon.
Good afternoon. Are you
Hi,
ready?
Sharon.
Okay, I'm just coming to you today to ask for approval on a job description for a position that is going to be vacant in my office. It's an existing position. The title of the position was updated previous to this
With the
job
pay plan.
description. Yeah, there you go. So, if you've had a chance to look at that or have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those questions for you.
Just really cleaning up the job description, and any official descriptions come to you all for approval when we change jobs.
This is the in-house, the other one we did was the field.
Right, this would be it is what the administrative side will do.
So, how you're gonna combine something, or are you gonna combine it, or you still having two new people, because one's gonna resign on the 27th?
Yes, that's correct. So there would be, if this is approved, I'll have 2 open positions in my office right now, both full-time.
That one's an existing, it's just cleaning
Yeah.
up the job description, and
Right.
the other one is the new one that you already
Oh, it's
approved the job
cleaning the
description.
new job.
This is
description.
cleaning up the existing job description
Okay.
before the hiring process.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. So do we need to make a motion to approve the job description?
So
I'll make a
moved.
motion to approve the job description for health planning, zoning, governmental assistant specialist 1.
Commissioner Becker got the motion. Gary has the second. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. 5-0.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you all.
We've got 5 minutes. Let's take a 5-minute recess.
I wonder what they got for their old expedition. It said out there when Dave was going.
Oh.
What,
That's
you buy it?
interesting. No.
Good school car, right?
It must be
Yeah.
better than I thought it was.
Maybe it's,
3.
So they probably only put it up there for 5.
It was there one day.
That's all vehicles now.
And they never even,
Yeah, it's
never even
ridiculous.
took the sign off the sign.
All right, so
Can-
5-minute
can we
break.
allow
Yes,
somebody
5-minute
to-
okay,
recess.
I'm gonna turn
Vehicles with the
technology
county
off
sign
or
on the
pause for
side.
5 minutes.
We should have 4.
Either that or we get paid.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we appreciate your patience while we took a little recess. 2:15, we're a little early for 2:15, but we can, if Randy is ready, we would go ahead and start with emergency management, equipment storage discussion.
I already talked to him and asked him to come in, but someone might have gotten in on there.
That's not John.
There we go, great.
Hello, Randy.
Afternoon.
Afternoon. Yes. Okay, the equipment storage issue.
Yeah, I didn't call this meeting, so I wasn't quite sure what all you wanted to talk about. There's a lot of things that could have gone better. Do we have a contract yet?
Not that I've seen this signed after we last talked. I went ahead and emailed. I still don't have a physical one back from them, although I don't know of anything in it that was objectionable, so that part of it is.
Well, that's one of the, for me, that's one of the challenges working with the Fair Board in this process, because I don't know what we've agreed to do or not to do, what's in the contract, and doing those different things. You know, the parameters that are set in the contract, I'm not sure what they are, and I don't want to cross them. So I've been waiting on a contract before I made, which is why when Mr. Clinton called and I sent you that text.
Yes.
I said, no, I said, you need to talk to a commissioner of the attorneys because I don't know anything about the contract because I'm not part of writing it. And he wanted me to make certain decisions. I said, I can't do that. And, so I assume that you and Mr. Clinton have visited.
We have not.
Okay.
So.
All right, well, I did my due diligence. I sent the message and said he'd like to visit with you. Which unfortunately, the last day that we set this up to visit in this room was the day that I wound up in the hospital. Unfortunately, because that day we could have made a lot of decisions and things could have been done. We were going to move the vehicles that day after we had our meeting that was scheduled. But then I wound up in the hospital and I was taking some medicine and my doctor said, don't make any decisions because what I gave you was some pretty good stuff. So I didn't make any decisions. Our vehicles got put in the back order, the best way to put it, surrounded by a lot of stuff. There's still stuff around it. I think they had the auction last weekend, finally. The auction was put off for another week because their auctioneer couldn't make it the original date, so they pushed it off for another week. But there's still stuff in there. We've been asked again to move the vehicles, and we're going to get those moved next Thursday. I think it's next Thursday, just before Memorial Day weekend, because Public Health is doing a Safe Kids thing in there on Saturday. And then we'll move them back in following Tuesday, because it's a holiday week, Memorial Day. We'll move those back in then. Fortunately for us, we didn't need to pull them out. You know, the transition happened over the day and the night of the tornadoes, and we were fortunate we didn't need that equipment for response. We're very, very happy that God loved us that day and didn't break anything too much. We only had one house that was actually damaged of some sort. So that's, you know, and I've been hoping that we can get a contract of some kind signed so I know what parameters I have to work with. Because honestly, we don't have legal right in there. Because in the past, when I've used it, when I've gone for the fair, for example, when we set up and had a fair booth there, I had to sign a document saying I'll pay so much money and I get so much space. We had a legal document working with. That's what I'm looking for here is another legal document telling me what my parameters are and what I can and can't do. And without that, I can't make decisions for the county because it's not my responsibility. I can't do that. It's your guys, because you guys do policy. It's not mine to do. So hopefully we can get to an agreement somehow with Mr. Clinton or whoever signs for the fair board, probably Mr. Clinton. And get past that. It's just
we kind of had one the day we were left over there.
Say,
We kinda had an agreement, you know,
Yeah.
a verbal agreement.
well.
And then your notes
and then-
memorialize that, I thought pretty well. That's exactly what that contract says.
We were gonna take the back half and have the dividers.
Well,
in
we got
between.
the,
But
we
technically,
got the square footage.
it wasn't an agreement because you weren't a quorum to make an agreement. You were just two commissioners.
But you knew what the rules were gonna be.
I knew what you guys were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely did. And part of those rules, they were gonna leave a lane open so we can get our equipment out. That didn't happen either.
You know, they could move stuff if it needed that.
Well, there was trailers in there. There's some stuff on the ground under the trailers, but there was, I mean, I went and checked it. And then I went and verified that.
But Jonah, there was no lanes being left open. It was decided that we could
Well,
make a lane real quick
Well,
for you.
and the
Yeah.
verbal that
In
we
the
had
verbal.
was just that we were renting the square footage, so that way our,
The back half.
well, not necessarily the back half, it was just the square footage of whatever the trailers were. So that way, if the fair needed something else, we could move the trailers to another spot, and we're still just
Yeah.
occupying that square footage.
But Randy's saying that there need to be a lane, but no,
Well, it was,
there was no lane. It was just, they could pack it in there
Well, it
with the
was always-
trailers, but we could pull the trailers out quickly. So you could get your stuff out.
yeah,
I mean, it was a 10-minute process.
it was
with those
predetermined that we needed to keep in mind that those could need to leave.
Yes.
And so anything that was done needed to be,
But all this stuff's gonna be mobile.
Even with that, the challenge we had with this particular incident, hopefully we never have this again, is that they put their items, actually they went well into the area that we're renting. They pushed all the barricades right up to the equipment and put all the items right up next to the equipment. And if I can't move the dually to onto the trailers, I can't get anything else. And it was all just smushed into there. There's no way you could have moved it without having to move several tables outside of the lane of traffic.
Yeah.
There was quite a bit of other stuff there too.
I had discussed with a few different entities through all this. Basically had a small army ready to go if anything happened. I mean, it's just cooperation. It's just a matter of, you know, being friendly.
Well, Randy had contacted me last week about the access, showed me pictures. I contacted Jonah. Jonah contacted the different entities. I sent you his comment back that they would help move it, and that's kind of where I left it at that point. So.
And that's where it stayed for the rest of the time.
Right. So I just wanted to bring that to the commission's attention.
Which I feel
Whatever.
everybody worked together to solve the problem if we had a disaster. Yes.
Okay, are there any other questions or discussion on the equipment storage?
Just need to get the contract
Yeah.
to resurface again.
Yeah, was he, when you had sent me that, I understood he was gonna be calling the office. Is that not the case at all?
No, I sent it to you asking you to give him a call.
Oh, I didn't.
I believe that's what I wrote in there, but I asked you to visit with him. Because he said that he was wanting to visit with you, and that's why I
Yeah.
sent it to you.
I told the fair board to contact the clerk so it gets brought before us for decisions. So,
About the contract?
no,
Oh,
just anything that arises.
okay. There has been no communication about having to move anything. So you're saying that you're supposed to move something later this month, but I haven't gotten anything from the fair board about that, so.
You know, the public health sent me an email. Safe Kids Group sent me an email.
Inside the county.
Who's in public health?
We're getting kicked out by ourselves.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
This is the same kind of comments that when I sat as a chair, I looked right here when we was all sitting in the room giving directions to put the stuff, to move the equipment into the storage building over there. 2 to 3 weeks went by, and I said, call me directly, I would help. We sat right here and looked at him. And this is the same kind of problem we had then, and when I went to address the problem, to see why he hadn't done it in 2 or 3 weeks, his answer was I had to finish the end of my year reports. And so it didn't get done then. It seems like now we still have problems with communication is all it is, and we don't have that. So I'm ready to move on.
Well, for getting into matters of personnel performance, actually, the next item is the review. Did you have any other reports from your department or at this point?
No, there are 3 department heads that's, we're still waiting to hear from, so we can finish up the food project. But other than that, all the rest of them.
The rest of them, good. Appreciate that.
Which departments?
Do we need to nudge?
One is the attorney, one is the courts upstairs, and one is
That's me.
the ag folks.
Well, we got leverage with one.
Yeah.
No. We don't have leverage with anybody.
I just look and they're all elected. Got nothing.
But we can make one person's life very miserable, real quick. Okay, well, very good. We're down to 3. We'll see if we can't do something to help get those 3 to move.
Okay.
So, well, with that, we'll move into the annual review. So I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 1 for personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance with the commission and Randy Frank. Let's go 20 minutes from 2:25 to 2:45, right? 20 minutes?
Yep.
Getting better. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Gearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We're in executive session until 2:45. Oh, okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we are out of executive session. No decisions made. Thank you, Randy. As soon as Ashley gets that, you can pick it up from Ashley. With that, we'll move into another executive session. Without you. I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance with the commission and counselor for 20 minutes? From 2:45 to 3:05. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Balke. Discussion?
Ain't nobody back online yet, is there?
Yes.
Okay. So they're aware we're going to do that.
Yes, we're going into another executive session until.
Need that screen that says.
Yeah, so we know who's listed, 3:05. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We'll be back at 3:05.
I think he could sell you one of those little gazebo deals.
Yeah, well, we're getting somewhere.
And then you put netting around it, screen it, and then you got.
Reduce the
Are you guys
rainfall
a
by
team?
30%.
Are you guys a team or what?
This conference will now be recorded.
There's commission. Okay, 3:05, we are out of executive session, no decisions made. Let's see. There we go. We are out of executive session, no decisions made. We got everybody back online?
We have several online, yes.
Okay. Now, it's a little bit early, but if it's okay with Travis, we'll go ahead and move into your report. Sure. Your item.
Yeah. Well, good afternoon. I am on the agenda to discuss hospital transfers. They've become a bit of a hot topic as of recently. We've had the same transfer policy since July 2019. I think most of the commission's aware of the policy, and we can rebrief on it if we need to. Our policy, it really puts it that transfers don't take precedence over 911 calls. We have to have the appropriate staffing, the appropriate resources available. In that event, then we take out of county transfers. Really haven't had a lot less transfers or a lot more. Obviously with COVID, we had some issues arise with where we could take people. And I think there's two things that have recently happened. And one is they're trying to get a lot more patients out of our Wichita metro area, McPherson, Salina, and there's more rooms to the east of us. That puts our trucks on the road for a long time. It goes against our policy. We try not to extend past the 60-mile range. There have been instances where we've worked with the hospital, we've made it happen when it truly needs to happen. But what we've seen as of recently is back-to-back transfers. We had a truck tied up from 10:40 in the morning till 6:58 at night, running transfers to Wichita without a break. And that's three. Yep. And I had to answer to a family member as to where the ambulance was when it was called for their family member, and it wasn't where it should have been.
On a 911 call.
For a 911 call,
Yes.
correct. And I don't like that. I don't like to
Right.
have to explain that.
Right.
I've worked for the last 3.5 years with the executive, the CEOs at the hospitals, the upper management, and we've worked together to try and get this to run as smooth as it can. However, as of recently, we've had some negative statements being made by hospital staff to patients' families, and it made its way to social media. I resolved it via phone call, and I think we resolved it well. We answered, but there were some mistruths, half-truths that were going out. And I think that's going to be resolved at the facility level. Again, that relationship that we have to work through it to better it. I want the commission to be aware, if you hear something out there, that we are willing to do transfers. We do transfer. They're on one now. So we have a truck headed to Newton, I believe, right now. We do transfers. We do it as a service to our community. They are taxpayers most of the time. There are constituents, right? There are people that need to go to another facility. What is hard for me is to do the balance. I sending more than one out at a time, sending them back to back for hours on end is simply not what I want to be doing. We started working with the hospital pre-COVID on mission control. Mission control is a system that they go in, and this was with both facilities, dispatch, myself, where they go into mission control. Mission control then tries to find them. Could be a bed, at the hospital. It could be a doctor they're trying to get, and as well as transport. If they have the bed, the doctor, all they need is transport. Mission control reaches out to us first. If we are not available because we already have one out, we're not available because we have a couple trucks out on 911 service, then we're not available. They move to the next one. And now, post-COVID or wherever we're at in the COVID place, the state has made arrangements with mission control. They're available for every hospital, for every transfer in the state. They're being KDHE side of things, a little monetary deal there where they're providing that service. There's some communication breakdowns. I mean, you add another thing into an algorithm and it can have its challenges. It seems to be working well as long as we continue to use it. So, again, if you hear something on the street, we're not doing anything different. What we are trying to do is, instead of the crew gets to the hospital and they say, hey, we have another one going when you get back, we encourage them to go to mission control, see if somebody else can come get them. If they can't, when we get back, we generally take it. I know talking with CEOs, they really want to sit down and look at what's being transferred out. At what time, what happens down the road? Are they discharged a day later? Did they go for an immediate, treatment? And that's another thing in our policy. underline bold print, we will not send 2 ALS units out of the county at the same time. With one caveat, and that is, I have somebody going down with with a hip fracture to Newton out of Hillsborough, and Marion, St. Luke calls and said we have a STEMI, or a myocardial, a heart attack. That person needs to go, it's time sensitive, I'll roll the dice, right? Because that's an emergent transfer. Anybody that's going for an immediate intervention.
Yes.
Right, that's what's time sensitive to me. The fear and the world we're living in with low personnel count, low staffing at hospitals, is the beds aren't always available, and if they wait an hour or two, that bed may be taken away from them. So just know there's a lot of challenges, there's a lot of moving parts to this. But unless commission has a reason to change our approach on the transfer policy, I personally see no reason to. But I mean, you guys have input on this too. I mean,
Does St. Luke at one time, now I'm talking about a couple of years ago, they had contracted with some of their specialists. I think they were out of Topeka. Because I talked to one and he said if I needed, I'm gonna have to go to Topeka.
Yeah. And that's really where a lot of the challenge comes, is Topeka, Kansas City, and Manhattan.
You know, I'm just saying,
It
you know,
becomes
if one of the local
Sure.
hospitals is contracting with a specialist that's out of
Yeah.
an area farther than that, we
Right.
about have to haul them there.
Well, I mean, I took Jackie to Topeka. She had a surgery.
Yeah. And again, those are just things, I don't believe they're with anybody in Topeka, but
It could be, I said this a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and that's certainly something worth looking at, but as far as what I've seen requested to go to Kansas City, we went to Research Hospital in Kansas City, Missouri. That was simply, they were the people with beds. It wasn't a specialist, it wasn't a contractor.
Yeah,
At that time.
under COVID, you just
Sure, we were,
went.
well, and I mean, there were attempts to go to Oklahoma City and things like that, and that's just not the business we're in. We are mandated to provide a 911 service, and that's our focus, so.
A while ago, you said state. Who is the state?
That did what? That contracted with Mission Control?
Yeah.
KDHE.
But they've got an ambulance?
No, they contracted through KDHE funded, allocated some money for Mission Control to handle.
Okay.
At no cost to the hospital, no cost to EMS, they handle the transfer arrangements for them, for anybody that needs it. Doesn't mean you have to use it, but they're available to anybody in the state.
Okay. My first opinion when I heard this was, okay, what, how's it all come down? Travis told me and everything. But if you have two people, or two ambulances sitting here, and then he gets one of these calls, and some of the calls that we're talking about is KC, so we know that you send an ambulance out from here to KC, and it's 6 hours, so probably I would 2.5 or 5 to 6.
Figure your downtime, it's 8, it could be 8, 10, 12.
Well, it can't be more, But yet, do we turn them down to do that when we've got 2 setting? I mean, that's what the whole, I think some of the problem that's come up is when we turn them down, we've got 2 ambulances out here setting. So, I don't know. I mean, we're in the business to make money and not have to have all taxpayers.
Well, I wouldn't say just to make money, but
Well,
also to provide a service.
Provide a service.
And prioritize our service.
Yeah.
And that's where I've got to ask the commission to continue, if it's to continue to support the mission that's before us, and that is #1 priority is 911. And I think I get that from each commissioner, that our #1 priority for Travis and the ambulance service is 911 calls, emergency calls in our county. Transfers come second.
Transfers have always been secondary.
Yeah.
Now, the follow-up on the policy of the transfers is, how much security do you need on your 911? At the bare minimum, you need that one advanced unit.
Yeah.
We've got to make sure we have that advanced unit. If we get a 911 emergency call, if we have both units gone and we get that call, you want to talk, I'm not talking about a family.
The same thing can happen in an ice storm. It
Sure.
happened before, you got 4 or 5 ambulances running in
Sure.
this county.
You can have all of them tied up.
But I didn't make the decision for the ice
No,
storm.
no,
Right,
nobody
right.
did. I'm just
Yeah.
saying
No, and
that
I'm
it
just,
happens and how are we gonna handle it and then,
Sure.
and then come budget time.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, there are other options for transfers.
There is another call. And so,
And that the patient is already at a facility. I mean, doesn't mean that they don't need to be transferred,
Yeah.
but it's, to me, in my mind, it's different than the person laying on the floor or in a car accident.
right,
Yeah.
very true.
So again, I
They're not gonna-
emphasize the policy that's being enforced in 911 priority. Now, again, after that, it gets touchy, but there's judgment calls have to be made, and you're not gonna be 100% on judgment calls.
Your transfers back into the county,
yes.
do they fall under a higher priority than transfers out of the county?
Anything coming back into the county, going swing bed, they're usually scheduled, close to a day in advance.
Okay.
They know those people are gonna, discharge planner at one of the bigger hospitals makes contact. We try and, I mean, we don't know that I've ever turned one down because they're coming from Wichita most generally.
Yeah, so just trying to bring them home.
Yep. No, and that's.
I kind of hold that in a higher regard.
Yeah, well, and again, with our work through the local hospitals and working with them is, we want those patients to come back to them.
If you got one ambulance out and that time is 10 o'clock and you're supposed to be at Wichita and you got one ambulance out, what happens then?
They are aware, we call them back, we
Okay.
tell them that we'll be down later,
Yeah.
that has happened. I mean, it's just, again, the intent is not to empty our basket and then have to explain it.
So
you know?
that to bring them back in is typically more manageable than
Right.
taking them out.
Yep.
That's what I heard.
Not as time sensitive, you know,
Okay.
I mean, on some things, it's not a distance, it's not finding the bed, you know. The most recent one, you know, that made the social media was how long it took, and it just simply was not the case. Once we went back and looked at everything, looked at the details, that it was hearsay, it wasn't hearsay.
Can't believe that.
I can't say that. It was what the patient and the patient's family were told by a worker, and then when I looked into it, it's simply inaccurate. So, and I offered to that person to, you know, please come to my office, I'm happy to share that information, but do know that this has been a challenge. We've worked with several directors of nursing, some CEOs, and tried to get ultimately, there are people, and if they need to get somewhere, we want them to get there. And we just have to do that balancing thing. And unfortunately, it falls on myself quite a bit to be the not nice guy. I mean, it's not something I take lightly, honestly.
Right.
It's a decision you have to make, and it's not always popular.
Yeah, and, you know, you make decisions, it's good. I mean, that's just one of them deals. Apparently, sometimes some people get a little perturbed and start little stories and little things and don't get the truth to it. And don't understand the other side of the story too.
Sure.
They gotta understand your side, not just theirs.
And again, I think working with the hospitals, a lot of this will be cleaned up, and we're gonna continue to
Good
do
deal.
that. So, do know if you hear any, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you guys have, that arise, or if you have some now, but I'm certainly happy to explain the angle that we come from, so.
Well, I appreciate you giving us more information. There seemed to be a lot being said last week, so I think that helped clears the air, and we know you have the support of your commission.
Okay. Thank you.
I guess that's a really good time to move into department head review.
Okay.
It's you.
Did you see that on the agenda?
I did,
Okay.
but, yeah.
Does that work for you? I guess.
I think Travis also has a personnel issue that he wanted to come to the board
okay.
for.
Yeah, sorry. I
I
should
mean,
ask you another.
yeah, if it wants,
So if
it's all
it's a-
personnel performance.
Okay,
I can
roll
go
it
from
into
right
it.
from it to review if you want. Just gotta take
Yes,
a little
you
longer.
can do that, but you need to allow enough time. So, because it's personnel performance, it doesn't all have to be about the same person.
Sure. How much time do you need?
30 minutes.
Oh.
15.
So we're gonna be in.
30 total.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry, 30 total. Can you do that?
For your portion is.
And yours. I'm looking at 15 minutes.
Okay, we can, let's do 25.
25.
Okay.
20, yeah.
Help me with the math.
Yeah.
While I'm doing the motion. I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss personnel matters with Tina and Brett.
Okay, so if you want us in there, then you need to do two separate, because we won't be in there for your,
We can do his first and
Okay,
then
let's do
invite
15.
you in for the portion.
Why don't you do the
review.
personnel thing every, if we run out of time, we do the review some other time.
Okay, so we will do 15 minutes, and you need Tina and Brad.
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll start with the motion. I move that we recess in executive session in order to discuss personal performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 1, personnel matters and non-elected personnel performance with the commission. Travis, Brad, Tina for 15 minutes from 3:22 to 3:37. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Galkey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We'll be back at 3:37.
Did you say we?
You and I got this.
This conference will now be recorded.
Do we have most of our people back on?
Yes.
Okay. We are out of executive session, no decisions made. Let's see. We have a 3:45.
Well, that was,
That was Travis.
That was true.
We have a new one.
Yep.
oh, okay.
We have something for 5 minutes.
Or you can just take a break for a few minutes.
I'd say let's take a 5-minute break. We'll be back at 3:45.
Yep.
Thank you. Sorry, folks, a lot on and off today.
She said, I'm not comfortable with it.
Everything's on.
All right.
About an hour later, the Marion police.
We are out of executive session with no decisions made.
I thought
And you had a recess. We have
Yep.
we have an appointment with someone at 3:45.
Okay. We've made a phone call and the person is on the way, so.
Very good. We will just wait. So you starting another item?
Did y'all think any more about the budget directives that you want me to send out to the department heads?
Be thoughtful.
Okay.
I'd like us to be able to freeze a lot of these budgets because
Well, there's some slack in every one of the budgets. Not everyone, but there's some slack. But being able to curtail to the right line items
because
and
if
stuff
we
like
don't,
that.
if we don't have some kind of wordage in there, you're gonna get some
Yeah.
budgets that are pretty inflated.
So it's the flip side, 15% too.
Well,
I mean, the
I'm not gonna
supplies.
disagree with that, yeah.
They said to do more with less.
So the directive is
Huh?
to
Start counting pencils.
Okay. So do you want me to send something out with the budget thing that says, do your best to keep your budget level or to reduce?
I don't think reduce is realistic.
Yeah.
I'd like
Hold
that
the same.
I'd like that whole thing in there, level or less, that,
It makes them work. It makes you work to get your budget where it's at and keep it.
Use less paper, less.
It's just hard for some,
Work smarter.
especially over here.
So do,
This is the year.
I'll just put to keep it at level
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
possible.
That was possible too.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you, Randy, for coming over.
any reductions would be appreciated.
Okay, thank you.
I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance with the commission. Randy Frank and Council Brad Chance for 5 minutes from 3:50 to 3:55. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Dalkey. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We will be back.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we're on.
Yes.
We are out of executive session. No decisions made.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I'd make the motion that Randy Frank's employment with Marion County as Emergency Management Director be terminated immediately as of now.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Garing. Discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to be a by-person vote.
Okay.
For that.
We'll do a roll call. Okay, any other discussion? If not, we'll do a roll call. Commissioner Dalkey?
Yay.
Commissioner Crowfoot?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yay.
Commissioner Garing?
Yes.
Commissioner Leemers, yes. 5. And council, would you like to give some follow-up?
Randy, I think one of the sheriff's officers will go with you at this point to your office, let you retrieve personal items, go ahead and surrender any keys, any other property that you have that's part of the county. If there is any that's not here today, ask that that be returned by tomorrow, if that's plausible and practical. If not, for some reason, we need to know what it is and when it would be returned.
Okay. Thank you.
Need to talk to the sheriff, too. They figured it out. Just in
Short term,
case.
name
Just in
acting
case.
emergency management director.
Yeah, should have someone who's filling in the position, since this was effective immediately. Right now, you've got a void there.
Yep.
We have a motion, Commissioner Dalkey.
I'd like to make the motion that we appoint the Deputy Director of Emergency Management to interim director until further notice. And that would be Marcy Hostetler.
We have a motion to appoint an acting director. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Garing. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Doesn't have to be done now, but I think we'll have to review what we will send or pay out.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we can do some of that retroactive.
Yeah, we can do that.
I would even mention that maybe a special meeting with her.
That'd be good.
To give her some directions.
Would you allow the chairman?
Yes.
Okay.
That was second motion as we made.
I'll make that happen tomorrow morning.
Okay, yes.
I'll take that as a directive.
That would be very good. I think it needs to happen.
It will happen tomorrow.
Yes.
And I can go with it anytime.
That'd be good, if that's okay with the
Yes,
rest.
that's the chairman and the vice chair. That's a great,
Because I am vice chair.
great deal. Mhm.
That'd be great.
She's there at 8 o'clock.
Very good.
Does anyone, I think it would be a great idea for someone to speak with her today.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay, I will contact her as soon as we finish.
Should I go up and visit with her now?
Well, just maybe Tina can text her and tell her to hang around for a little bit.
She's there till 5.
How about we
4
take,
o'clock.
we'll take a 5-minute recess. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
That's
Sorry,
fine.
folks, but it's one of those days.
Yep.
It is 4 o'clock. We will be back from recess at 4:05.
Very good. We'll make a phone call.
He's gonna call.
we're on, we never stopped recording.
Are people still with us?
My red light was
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Dalkey wanted to bring up the transfer station.
I'm gonna pass on that, I'm due to time.
Well, we've got some time with
Oh,
council.
okay.
Because the other issues, we need executive session, we need counselor.
I don't know what rules we've given Josh, stuff like that, but, inside the building, we've always taken and helped people, if you could push it off of a trailer, if you could do something like that with a machine, whatever load comes in. There was a load taken in last Friday that was, the person denied, said we cannot touch that. Insurance purposes, we cannot touch it. You have to unload it yourself. And so, but that wasn't so bad, except for it's been a practice of ours to do things like that in the county. But then they went over, 2 employees went over and sat down and watched 3 people unload it for 30 minutes and sat there and laughed and carried on. And one employee was very nice and scraped the stuff away as it come off the trailer. I don't know if they realize that maybe they're supposed to be doing something. I don't know. But sitting on their rear and laughing is not, don't cut the mustard.
That's not the image we want to portray for the county.
And I didn't say a word to nobody. I was very nice. I did unload the trailer and I left. And I have not talked to Josh yet because I don't know what his rules are yet, what he's been given about the insurance and stuff, but that was what was put out there. But we need to change some things if we're gonna continue business. And now, I understand the car, and I've always said this, a cattle trailer, I've seen a lot of cattle trailers come in and they're stacked clear to where you can't get in them and stuff like that. I don't need to put my personnel in that, but when they can take a machine and push it off and put it on the floor and help people, I just really feel that maybe somewhere we need a fine line of what's available.
You're talking about the backhoe?
Well, at the very least, the employees ought to be helping them manually take the stuff off.
Well, then you go to the outside, and that's what I think some people said, something, they're hearing complaints that they're not helping on the outside too, so that's, I don't know, it's a fine line.
We need to
It's
have
tough.
a talk.
Yeah, it's a tough fine line.
Discussion.
And I want Josh in here
Yep.
and stuff, so he can bring the other side of the story too.
Right, well, this situation that you just spoke of, it's acceptable for somebody to stand there and supervise the floor. And maybe not lend a hand, but the other person need to be up cutting tires or doing something else. That scenario.
And their excuse will be that they're waiting for that trailer to get unloaded so they can push it now.
There's always something that can be done.
But they could have helped unload the trailer quicker.
Would it be appropriate to ask Josh to come in next?
Yes, we'll line something up with Josh and
You shouldn't tie up a loading stall for 30 minutes.
make sure what our rules are
Right,
and stuff, so everybody knows.
Right, so Tina will ask Josh to come in next week
Okay.
and talk about policies at the transfer station.
Yes. Thank you.
That's very good. All right, we're to the county councilor item, and I know we have.
Can I make one more comment?
Oh, sure.
Brad knows about it. I asked him it would be under commission comments, to do a draft resolution based, with the purpose of putting teeth to the wanton destruction of our dirt roads.
Oh, okay.
So that the sheriff has some teeth in doing that. I know with the last big rain that we had out in my district, we had a lot of roads torn up, vehicles stuck. The sheriff actually went out and got license plate numbers, but we have no teeth.
Okay. No, I'd take that as a directive from the commission if there's no opposition. And Brad has direction. We're still working on that, so we can still work it into the policies.
Yes.
You can actually put it in there.
Now, Harvey County does have some teeth over there. They wrote
Yeah.
tickets and
Yeah.
stuff, so.
But that then would give the sheriff the tools to
Yes.
implement.
Yes, we just need to have
the
some
teeth.
teeth to where we can stop that.
Very good, thank you,
And
Commissioner.
it needs to be just reckless. Right, because there are some people that are out there, because otherwise we're gonna get into this vegetation talk.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
And just because you're stuck on the road.
Yeah, or it needs to be, if somebody's out there to,
And we know that every once in a while,
Perform a duty.
a landowner has to get to the pasture. with
Sure,
somebody.
or oil wells.
We understand
Yeah.
that.
But at the same time, if it's just somebody out there joyriding, but,
right.
yeah, been there, done that. Okay, very good, appreciate the comment. Actually, might ask if there's any other commission comments before we go to council, because I think we have several executive
Was-
sessions.
Was there anything on the documents that you had me to provide to the board this morning?
Yes. Okay, and we'll do that real quick, like, and that way it'll be over with.
It won't be over.
No.
After I saw the price of mine.
Oh, no. Okay, this is now Cody's deal. He's wanting to do it sort of like we did the ambulance building. This is his first run here at it, and this is for a commission or people online. This is for a storage building south of east of the jail over here that we've built the base for before, and we never have got to putting the building up. And this is just a pricing of a building for storage, both for trailers and stuff that we have stored in all other building facilities around the county. And then also, what really prompted this was a walk through the county courthouse, or county seat here, and going to the attic. That is, attic was, years ago, was completely loaded and is still nothing. I don't think it's safe yet. I don't know what the total weight limit is up there, but it's probably exceeded. So that's what the idea of this is to have a storage area inside this building for both of these trucks, vehicles, trailers, and documents too that the county needs. So what we did here is, through talking around here, was we decided to go to 16-foot sidewalls, and maybe have he's gonna have it, when you look at the proposal, you'll see a 2-layer proposal for storage room, 20 by such and such, and then I'll get to it here in just a little bit. But got a price sheet here. It come in at somewhere around $125 a square foot for that building, 80 by 90. But I'm wanting you to look over this. It is a standing seam roof, which is a little more than average roof. We have a mechanical room and a restroom over there, as you can see in the corner when we get to it. And then the second floor, this is where I'm going to rely on Commissioner Mueller. He's had some meetings with some of the department heads and to know what they want and how many people need storage. And we've rated the floor at 60 pounds per square foot, but we're also looking at maybe going up to 100 to 120 pounds per square foot if need be for load limit for this part of the building. Trench drain in the open bay, that's something that can be cut, but it depends on how some of the long runs there, how that comes out. He's priced got the doors, overhead doors, 4 of 14s, and 1 10 by 10 for the storage area down there. I think that's the way he's got it. But I want you to all go through here, ask any question, take it home and look at it. And here's some open drawings right here on the next to the last page. That 2-story part right there, that would be the 20 by the length of the building, with the very front of the building being to where you could pull in, get inside of the building with a car or truck and shut the door, and then start unloading. And then there's a second page there with a drawing put in a wall. And on the bottom floor, you can put dividers in to however many departments there, but the upstairs may be, there's a stairway figured in. You don't see that yet, I don't see. But there is a stairway figured that if you go upstairs, whether we can have open storage up there for one big area or what, I don't know. But anyway, take a look at it. There's a 20-foot pad on both sides of the building, cement approach pad. And just, like I said, Dave, if you have you and I need to get together for next week or so, then we whenever the commission wants to bring Cody in and have him look at the whole thing. And go over, explain everything to the commission. So, that's just a start. I mean, anybody can bring anything up that you need, that you think we need to do. We just, like Kent said, we took the drawing that I had and did the best we could with that. That's where this is from. Both ends would, or the south end would be able, where you see the single door down here, that would be able to be expanded further south. If you build it with a expandable, I don't know what that is. John, can you explain that? Expandable.
The end wall?
The end wall on the south, be the south end.
They could move it down.
Yeah, so you can
Join onto it?
join onto it and take it further south.
Okay. So that's all I needed, is get you guys sort of headed out there, take a look at it, and look at, and anything that you didn't like it the first time we went around with the ambulance building, and then bring that stuff up too, so that we can change some things. Cody's willing to work with us. I appreciate him doing what he's done so far.
Putting all the effort in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
We've
appreciate
done a lot
that.
of business with it.
So,
Appreciate that, Commissioner Dalkey. We got to start, and this gives us a starting place.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't have this before. We're getting pretty close.
There's a lot of moving parts you have to go into it, but we got to start. If we don't start, we'll never get there.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. All right, County Councilor.
2 items yet today, given the length of our meeting. I sent out to you on both of these some preliminary information. Contract for purchase on a piece of property that we had previously determined we were offering a certain price for has been agreed to by the sellers. We need to get approval and authorization for the chair to sign on that. I'm trying to get that closed just as quickly as possible with security first, and the sellers are well aware of that. That's fine with them, so.
Yep, we're on track.
make a motion to authorize the chairman to sign.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Herring. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Becker. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
nay. Motion carried 5-0.
And the second one unfortunately involves one last executive session on potential litigation. Probably need 10 minutes initially today.
Okay. And then we actually will need another one on potential land acquisition.
Yes.
15. So let's do the litigation portion. And that should wrap up today. 2 executive sessions. I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss potential litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Would that be item 2?
It's attorney-client.
Yeah.
Okay, as consultant, item 2, consultation with our attorney-client privilege. With Counselor Commission, do you want Tina?
She certainly can be.
Okay, for 10 minutes from 4:20 to 4:30. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Dalkey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We'll be back at 4:30.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we are out of executive session, and we have one more, because I know everybody's breathless, just waiting for another executive session, and then we'll be ready to adjourn.
And don't forget to announce no action.
There was no action taken in the previous executive session. And, okay. I move we recess an executive session in order to discuss potential land acquisition pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. It's the number 6, preliminary discussion of acquisition of real estate with the commission. I don't believe we need, well, maybe have Brad stay. Can you stay? For 15 minutes. From, let's say, 4:30 to 4:45. Second by Commissioner Dalkey. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We'll be back at 4:45 to adjourn. Oh, I could give Brad all these.
I've got a stack already. I'm good.
This conference will now be recorded.
Don't have South user yet. All right, we are out of executive session, no decisions made. Any other business?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Gary, is there a second? Second, Commissioner Becker, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0, we are adjourned.
I'm not getting in Dave's way.